It's Monday, the 1st of April, 2024. Welcome to the Fast 5 Business News by Fear and Greed, where we give you the top 5 business stories you need to know in just 5 minutes. I'm Michael Thompson, and good morning, Sean Aylmer.
Good morning, Michael. Happy April Fool's Day.
Oh, no, I'm not ready for this. I normally like to have some kind of joke ready, but it's really caught me off guard this morning. Anyway, Sean, I'm getting distracted already. We've got 5 stories to get through in 5 minutes, so let's get cracking. Story number 1, it might have been the Easter holiday weekend, but that didn't really stop the property market with nearly 900 homes going under the hammer.
It was well below the previous weekend, but still pretty good for this time of year. The preliminary clearance rate came in at 71.1% across the 5 capital cities, staying above that crucial 70% mark. It would have been better, but for Melbourne, where the clearance rate was a very, very soft 63%. That's the lowest level since November last year after the Melbourne Cup Day rate hike, according to CoreLogic figures. By contrast, Sydney's preliminary clearance rate over the last week was almost 78%, higher than 7 days earlier. The other capital cities were a touch softer than normal, and with around 2,000 homes scheduled for auction this week across the country, it's going to be very interesting to see if Sydney stays strong and Melbourne stays weak, which has been very much the trend so far in 2024.
On to story number 2, and this is really quite a big story, isn't it? Global fund manager Vanguard has found itself in hot water in Australia, with the federal court finding it misled investors about its $1 billion ethical bond fund.
The federal court found that Vanguard failed to adequately screen out certain investments against ESG criteria, such as holdings in Chevron, the oil and gas giant, and also in oil pipelines, despite promising investors that it had screened some of those out. It's the corporate watchdog's first greenwashing court victory, and Vanguard may find itself paying millions of dollars in damages, according to a report in the Financial Review. Justice Michael O'Brien also slammed a portion of the regulator's case, saying it had logical flaws, but overall it was broadly a win for the Australian Securities and Investments Commission. It's the second case of greenwashing it's bought, its first win. In short, the fund promised not to invest in bond issuers with significant business activities in a bunch of industries. In reality, that's not what happened.
Story number 3, the Facebook News tab will disappear this week as part of owner Meta's plans to drop news, which is a decision that will cost local media outlets about $70 million.
Given about 40% of Australians say they use social media to find news, and Facebook is still the most used social media platform in the country, then it looks like a bunch of people will soon be either, ignorant of what's happening, or have to look, or perhaps listen, elsewhere. The decision has put Meta in conflict with the Australian government and regulators. They're considering whether they can force the company back to the bargaining table. Meta has already closed news sections in the United Kingdom, France and Germany. It's in the process of doing so in the US. It says the news experience has become only a small part of the Facebook experience for the vast majority of people. Apparently, most of us just prefer to look at video reels.
Story number 4, I reckon plenty of people would have missed this one, Sean, because it came through late in the week after most of us had shut up shop for the long weekend. China has dropped its wine tariffs on Australian plonk.
Late Thursday night, the Chinese Ministry of Commerce said the tariffs would be dropped on Friday, having been imposed in late 2020. Pretty much decimated the $1.2 billion export market for hundreds of local wineries. This was the last major tariff on Aussie goods, though there remain some protectionist policies on beef and on Australian lobsters. The local ASX-listed company to benefit most from the decision is Treasury Wine Estates. Its share price has been running ever since the dropping of the tariffs was mooted. It's up nearly 25% since early January.
Last one, story number 5. The scale of this one is just incredible, Sean. One of the world's largest telcos, AT&T in the US, said that personal data from about 7.6 million current account holders, and get this, 65.4 million former customers, was leaked onto the dark web.
The data, leaked about 2 weeks ago, includes personal information such as social security numbers and appears to be from 2019 or earlier, the company said over the weekend. Now, the source of the data is still being investigated. According to AT&T, it's not sure whether it came from the company itself or from a third-party vendor. The company spent the weekend resetting passwords. Very busy job. AT&T is the third largest US retail wireless carrier behind Verizon and T-Mobile.
There we go. The top 5 business stories in 5 minutes. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Michael.
It's Monday, the 1st of April, 2024. Remember to hit follow on the podcast. And if 5 minutes isn't enough, you can find our longer daily show called Fear and Greed wherever you listen to podcasts. I'm Michael Thompson, and that was the Fast 5 Business News by Fear and Greed. Have a great day.